There's something many women feel, but few can clearly explain. The house feels heavy. Even when it's clean, even when it's silent, the atmosphere seems tired, as if it holds memories, pain, and wear that have built up over time. If you're over 50, you may have felt it, a sense that the house no longer feels as welcoming. Your mood shifts, sleep is light, energy just doesn't flow. And no matter how hard you try to stay strong, something invisible keeps dragging you down. But the problem might not be with you. It could be in what your house has absorbed over the years. Arguments, losses, frustrations, silent fears. The house feels, and it holds on. Many women who have always been the foundation of the family end up forgetting to care for themselves and for their space. And over time, the home stops being a refuge and becomes a mirror of the unresolved things within. Today, you'll learn something simple yet deeply transformative. An ancestral ritual used by generations of wise women, healers, grandmothers, and it can completely change your home's energy. And it all starts with a common ingredient that might already be in your cupboard right now: vinegar. But before we go on, write this in the comments: my house will be protected. This gesture isn't just symbolic. It's your energy saying, I'm ready for renewal. The solution is so simple that many people doubt its effectiveness. But it's no coincidence that it has endured through centuries, cultures, and generations. Vinegar. Yes, vinegar. It's not just for salad dressings or cleaning objects. In ancient traditions, from grandmother wisdom to spiritual teachings, vinegar is seen as a powerful purifier, capable of breaking cycles of stagnation, repelling negative energy, and restoring the vital flow of the home. But here's what most people don't tell you. Most use it incorrectly. They do it on the wrong day, mix it with the wrong ingredients, or worse, perform the ritual without being emotionally present, nullifying the effect. That's why so many people don't see results. It's not the vinegar that fails, it's how it's used. In this video, I'll show you not only how to apply this technique the right way, but also where to start for almost immediate results. You'll understand what vinegar cleans and what it reveals. Because, yes, it also reveals what's been hidden. And if you allow yourself to follow this process with attention, you will feel the change. It's not magic, it's intention, and it's real. But before we continue, I need to ask something important. Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. This channel is a dedicated space for those who want to transform the energy of their home and life with simple, natural, and powerful practices. And the upcoming videos will bring even deeper content, teachings that aren't widely shared out there. Take a moment and write in the comments, I choose to renew my energy. Every word you write here is a seed you're planting in the unseen. Margaret is 64. She lives in a small village in Ireland surrounded by quiet hills. Ever since her husband passed away, the house has felt different. It wasn't just his absence. It was something more subtle. The living room, once bright, seemed dimmer. The hallway felt cold, even in summer. And the bedroom, it was as if it no longer belonged to her. One afternoon, while talking to her older sister, she heard, "You need to cleanse that house, not with a broom, with your soul." Her sister explained the ritual she learned from their grandmother: white vinegar, warm water, a handful of coarse salt, and clear intention. Margaret followed the instructions exactly. The next morning, not only did she sleep well, she woke up different. It felt like the air in the house had been renewed. Light came in more easily. Even the old clock, which had been still for months, started ticking again. Stories like Margaret's repeat themselves in many places around the world. In communities in southern Italy, older women cleanse the entrance of their homes with vinegar and rosemary branches every first Monday of the month. In Greece, it's common for grandmothers to teach their daughters and granddaughters to place a glass of vinegar and salt behind the door to protect the family from the heavy eyes, as they call the evil eye. In South Carolina, in the United States, a tradition rooted in African heritage is still preserved, where vinegar is used as a spiritual shield against visits that leave the air heavy. These women, with their gray hair and hands marked by time, are keepers of wisdom not found in books. They embody the archetype of the silent healer, the one who protects, cleanses, nurtures, and transforms without needing recognition. And even if these traditions seem distant, the principle remains the same. Vinegar carries a purifying and cutting energy. It doesn't just remove physical dirt. It breaks patterns, dissolves what's stuck, and makes room for the new. And the most beautiful part, it does this quietly, without drawing attention. Like so many women who hold entire families together without being seen. Science is starting to recognize this as well. Studies show that simple household rituals, done with awareness and intention, reduce symptoms of anxiety and increase mental clarity. In other words, it works on the body, the mind, and the soul. If you feel like this knowledge speaks to you, that it makes sense in a way that can't be explained logically, then you're exactly where you need to be. Leave a like now. It's your way of saying, I honor this wisdom and I'm ready to care for my home with awareness. First place, the entrance of the home. The entrance to the home isn't just where we open the door. It's the first filter of energy, the meeting point between what comes from outside and what you protect inside. And that's exactly why it needs to be cared for with special attention. Claire, 59, lives in rural France. A retired teacher, she lived alone after her children moved away. She felt strangely disconnected from her own home. Even on sunny days, the entryway felt dark and stuffy. Visitors avoided standing there for long. The rugs were always damp. The doorbell kept breaking. That's when she decided to try the vinegar ritual, even though she was skeptical. She followed it exactly. A bucket with warm water, white vinegar, a handful of salt, and a few drops of lavender essential oil. She cleaned the floor of the entrance slowly, with clear intention. Nothing negative enters here. That night, something changed. She said that as she passed through the entryway, she felt a gentle shiver, as if the air was being swept from within. The smell in the space changed. The energy felt light. Even the house cat, who usually avoided that area, lay on the rug and fell asleep. That's no coincidence. The entrance to the home is like a sensitive, energetic field. If it's heavy, everything that follows will be affected. Even if you clean every other room, if the entryway remains blocked, the flow won't renew. And more than that, cleaning the entrance with vinegar is also a symbolic act. It's you saying, only what is good for me enters here. In ancient traditions, like in Japan and Scandinavia, older women used purification rituals at the main door to protect the family. They knew everything starts there, that the first step to a harmonious home begins with how you welcome the world. So when you perform this ritual, repeat silently, I open my home only to what strengthens me. I close the door to what weakens me. After the cleansing, it's common to feel a lightness in the shoulders, warmth in the hands, or even a spontaneous urge to breathe more deeply. These are signs that the energy has begun to flow. And now, if you do this today, write in the comments, protected entrance. That comment isn't just a phrase, it's a declaration. It's you taking control of your home's energy. Second place, the bathroom. Few places in the home carry as much emotional charge as the bathroom. And paradoxically, it's the most forgotten when it comes to energy. It's where you release what your body no longer needs. But it's also where many women silently cry, take deep breaths, look into the mirror, trying to find a version of themselves that feels familiar. The bathroom is, without a doubt, a space of release, physical, emotional, and energetic. Mary, 62, lives in a coastal town in England. She went through a difficult divorce after 30 years of marriage. Everything on the outside seemed calm, but inside, something broke. Every time she walked into the bathroom, she felt nauseous. The light flickered. The mirror fogged up easily, even without steam. It was as if the room was trying to say something. In a meditation circle, she heard about the vinegar ritual used in the bathroom. She decided to try it, with zero expectations. She cleaned the tiles, the floor, and the toilet with a simple mixture: white vinegar, coarse salt, and a few drops of eucalyptus essential oil. She did it in silence, in peace. And when she finished, she sat on the edge of the bathtub and cried without knowing why. That's the effect. Vinegar does cleanse, but it also brings things to the surface. It creates space for what needs to leave, from the body, the mind, the memory. From that day on, Mary started sleeping better. She began taking long baths again. The bathroom stopped being a pressure point and became once again a space for care. The bathroom holds everything we release. And when you don't clean that energy with intention, it builds up and it gets heavy. In many African and Southeast Asian cultures, the bathroom is treated as a sacred place of transformation. Some women even light candles or pray there as a way to give thanks for the daily release the body provides. And you can do the same in your time, your way, but with intention. Use white vinegar and coarse salt to clean not only the surfaces but also the drains, the corners, the forgotten spots. And as you clean, repeat silently, I release what no longer serves me. At the end, light a small candle, even if just for a few minutes. That light symbolizes the lightness beginning to return. And now, I want you to comment below, clean bathroom, light life. That phrase seals your commitment to transformation. Third place, the bedroom. If there's one space that absorbs everything you feel, it's your bedroom. The bedroom holds secrets, whispered conversations, sleepless nights, tears on the pillow, and deep silences. It's the mirror of your emotional intimacy, and often the most neglected space energetically. Elizabeth, 58, lives in Chicago. After caring for her sick mother for years, she finally found herself alone in the house. She expected to feel relief. She felt emptiness. She began experiencing insomnia, nightmares. She felt a tightness in her chest every time she laid down. She tried meditation, herbal teas, medication. Nothing helped. At a holistic fair, she heard about energetic cleansing with vinegar in the bedroom. At first, she hesitated, but one sentence from a therapist caught her attention. Your bedroom holds everything you don't say out loud. Elizabeth decided to try it. She made a solution with vinegar, warm water, coarse salt, and a few drops of chamomile oil. She used this mixture on the walls near the bed, the corners of the floor, the windows, and even the mirrors. As she cleaned, she repeated silently, "I deserve to sleep in peace." That night, she slept without interruption for the first time in 2 years. The room felt different, lighter, quiet in a good way, and she realized it wasn't the room that had changed. It was her. By cleaning the space, she was also cleansing herself. The bedroom is the most intimate point of the home. Everything you feel but don't say, it picks up on. Built-up energy in the bedroom affects your sleep, your mood, your health, and even your relationships. That's why cleansing this space with vinegar is an act of self-love. It's you saying, "My peace is a priority." Ancestral cultures, such as the Celtic and Native American peoples, treat the bedroom as sacred ground where the body rests and the spirit regenerates. Before bed, older women would spread herbs, light candles, and purify the room with liquids made of vinegar and salt. You can do the same in a simple way. Wash the floor, the corners, and even the bed's headboard with the mixture. Then place a glass with vinegar and salt near the bed for one night. It will absorb whatever heavy energy remains. The next day, throw it away, far from the house. And now that you know the power that lies in your hands, write in the comments, "My bedroom is my refuge." That affirmation is more than just words. It's the first step to reclaiming your sacred space. Not every ritual works, and that's something that needs to be said with honesty. Many women try these methods. They use vinegar, they do the cleansing, but days later they say, "I didn't feel any difference." And it's not because the technique failed. It's because something fundamental was overlooked: the emotional state during the ritual. Susan, 61, from rural Scotland, watched a video similar to the one you're watching now. She was anxious, exhausted, and angry. She rushed through the whole process, cleaning the house with vinegar while arguing on the phone. She finished the ritual, but nothing changed. On the contrary, she began to feel even more irritable, more drained. A few days later, she posted in a spiritual group online, "Maybe these things don't work for me." An older woman named Helen replied with wisdom, "Vinegar is a channel, but you decide what it carries." And this isn't empty mysticism, it's neuroscience. When the body is in a state of stress, it triggers a cascade of chemical reactions that block focus, calmness, and connection to the present moment. In other words, the ritual becomes just another item on a to-do list. And then it loses its meaning. It's not about doing it right. It's about feeling what you're doing. Take a deep breath. Be present. Recognize what you're cleansing inside and out. If your mind is full of anger, fear, or hurry, the house doesn't fully cleanse. The energy stays suspended, and everything returns to how it was. So before any ritual, pause for a minute. Close your eyes, place your hands over your chest, and say to yourself calmly, I'm ready to let go of what weighs me down. Only then should you begin, with presence, with truth. That's the only secret that really matters. You are the force behind the ritual. And now, if this part of the video brought you clarity, share it with someone you love. Don't let other women go through this ritual on autopilot and end up frustrated. Sometimes, a simple piece of guidance can prevent weeks or years of stagnation. Now that you've cleansed the main spaces of your home with intention, it's time for a complementary ritual. Quiet, deep, and surprisingly revealing. The vinegar and salt glass ritual is an ancestral technique used to diagnose and absorb heavy energies that may still be present in the environment. It works like a spiritual sensor. And the most fascinating part? It clearly shows if there's something that still needs attention. You'll only need 3 simple elements. A clear glass, one you won't drink from afterward, white vinegar, as pure as possible, coarse salt, natural without additives, and a bit of water. How to prepare it? Fill the glass halfway with water. Add 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. Add 1 generous spoonful of coarse salt. Do not stir. Let the salt settle naturally. Now place the glass in the room where you feel the most heaviness. It could be the bedroom, the entrance, or even a hallway where the air feels stagnant. Leave it there for 24 hours untouched. Avoid letting others move or touch it. What to look for afterward? If the glass is clear, with salt still at the bottom and no bubbles, the space is balanced. If there are white stains, rising bubbles, or salt has spread along the sides of the glass, stagnant or negative energy is being absorbed. If the glass cracks or breaks on its own, it's a sign of intense cleansing. The built-up energy was too heavy for the container to hold. Women who have done this ritual report physical sensations shortly after. Light chills, repeated yawning, the urge to open windows, sudden sleepiness. These are all normal reactions. The body responds to the space, and when the space changes, it feels it. Julia, 66, from Boston, performed this ritual after a string of bad nights and a constant sense of unease. The next day, the glass looked like a living sculpture, crystallized salt climbing up the sides, dense bubbles, and a kind of mist inside the glass. She was scared, but at the same time relieved. She said, "Now I know it wasn't just in my head." This ritual is simple but powerful. And the most beautiful part, it doesn't require blind faith. It shows, it reacts, it confirms. If you decide to do it today, I ask that you come back and comment afterward, "I felt the difference." Just like the ritual, this phrase seals your connection with everything that was released. Now that you've learned the full vinegar and salt ritual, it's time to take it a step further, with small actions that amplify the energetic effect inside your home. And here, we're not talking about anything expensive or complicated. These are accessible practices that awaken the senses and raise the vibration of the environment. First tip, ambient sound. Yes, sound also cleanses. Soft music, preferably instrumental or with mantras, creates a vibrational field that calms the nervous system and transforms the atmosphere of the home in minutes. You can play a Tibetan mantra softly while cleaning, or leave a harp and piano playlist playing during the day. Second tip, candles, preferably white ones, which symbolize peace and purification. Lighting a candle after the cleansing ritual seals the intention with fire, one of the oldest elements of spiritual protection. Place the candle on a small dish, light it with awareness, and say silently, "This flame represents the light I bring into my home." Third tip, the right incense at the right time. White sage, rosemary, lavender, or Palo Santo are great allies. But remember, incense is not perfume, it's a spiritual tool. Walk slowly through the house, letting the smoke circulate through the corners, closets, near doors and windows. And while you walk, keep your mind focused on one simple phrase. I welcome what's good for me. I release what no longer belongs to me. These gestures awaken something within you. And it's not just psychological, it's neurosensory. Soft light, pleasant scent, serene music. All of it sends signals to the brain that the space is safe, clean, and welcoming. You don't just think you feel better, you actually do. Amelia, 71, from Lisbon, adopted these practices after months of feeling her home heavy and her heart unsettled. She started cleaning the floor with vinegar once a week, playing calm music at dusk, and lighting a candle in the living room every night. 3 weeks later, she wrote in a notebook, "My house is breathing again, and so am I." And that's exactly it. When the environment shifts, you shift with it. So now I want to know, which of these tips will you apply first? Write it here in the comments. It can be the candle, the incense, the music. It doesn't matter which. What matters is that you choose something and start. Because every small act is a vote of self-love. If you made it this far, it's because something inside you decided it was time for change. And maybe it wasn't even a conscious decision. Sometimes the body feels it before the mind can understand. You sense something is off in the air, a restlessness in your chest, and everything seems to be asking for a fresh start. And today, with simple gestures, cloth, vinegar, salt, and intention, you've taken a powerful step. You've cleaned the house, yes. But more than that, you've reconnected with the woman who cares, who feels, who sees, and who transforms. The one who may have been hidden behind the routines, the pain no one noticed, the tasks only you handled. But she never left. She was just waiting for this moment, the moment when you look at your space and say with certainty, "I'm in charge here." Good energy doesn't come from outside. It's built with presence, care, and awareness. And now you have the tools. You know where to begin. And most importantly, you know your home is a mirror of what you nurture inside. When a woman over 50 takes back the power over her home, she's not just cleaning the floor, she is cleansing decades of invisible overload. She is honoring everything she has faced and making space for everything that can still bloom. Because, yes, there is still so much to bloom. Age has never been a barrier to fresh energy. On the contrary, maturity brings the clarity that was missing before. You don't need major external changes. You just need to shift how you stand within what's already yours. And if you felt all of this throughout the video, if something touched you deeply, as if it were made for you, that's because it was. Now, I invite you to leave your final comment here. Vinegar is my ally in prosperity. That phrase carries your story. It declares that you didn't just learn, you acted. And if this content truly moved you, like the video, share it with other women and subscribe to the channel. We'll be here, continuing to share the kind of knowledge that restores, empowers, and enlightens, one ritual at a time.